Game on, CoinOPS fans. This is Pixel Freak. Forgotten Worlds Reborn was just a testing build used internally to come up with a lot of neat new ideas for the upcoming themes that are going to be in Legends. It was kind of a step back, a return to the Forgotten Worlds releases that BP had previously, and it just really took off from there. Some amazing backgrounds, some amazing effects, back to the full cabinet. There's a lot of interesting things that have been done in Forgotten Worlds here, and BP has decided to release it out to the public instead of just being a testing build anymore. Kind of a spoiler alert, some of the best of portions are going to be part of the themes in Legends 4 coming out as well. But as a precursor to the release of Forgotten Worlds Reborn and Legends 4, let's take a look at Forgotten Worlds Reborn. I want to let you know briefly, I'm going to try to talk as little and just add a bunch of video at the end that shows me going through some of the options. It has music in the background. It is a single emulator. It's MAME only. There's all the Legends based assets are in here. So you have those bezels being used, the full cabinets as I explained, but you have such fine tuning control over what can happen. I'm going to talk to you briefly about what these bats do, and then I'm just going to go silent and let you see some of them in action. Arcade cabinet. In all of these themes or all of these layouts, you're going to have either a large cabinet or a small cabinet. Crossfade or not crossfade. Those are controlled here. Arcade cabinet time. That just means, does the cabinet appear like it's in the daytime or does the cabinet appear in the nighttime? The differences will be there's no vignette around the video. It's got a brighter light on it. The night, it's going to have the marquee and the screen and the coin slots, which is a beautiful touch, are a little bit light behind them, and they glow a little bit more. And the cabinet itself is going to be a little darkened. Arcade scenes. Look at how many different arcade scenes you can choose from. Okay. Now, the ones that have the verses in them, those are the ones that I refer to as bookends. You'll see it's not the arcade itself, an arcade like you walk into. These are going to be bookended. You're going to have Asteroids on the left, Marble Madness on the right, the selection in between, Galaga or Pac-Man, etc. So all of these verses are what I call the bookend scenes. City, Retro Road, Retro Wave. Those are the backgrounds where this is like a Blade Runner scene. This is a very neon road. This is, I think, the mountains and the scrolling underneath. Now you can have smoke free and smoky. These are going to be opposite of each other. I also need you to understand anytime you see muted, it is not muting the music. Music is handled by background music disable or enable. It's enabled by default. You can disable it. But muting has nothing to do with the background music. Those are controlled here. Muting has to do with the arcade din. When you're in an arcade scene, can you mute the background of the arcade ambiance and just leave the selection playing of the, when I say selection, the centered actual arcade cabinet that you're looking to select from. So that's when muted comes into play. Again, nothing to do with music. Smoke-free alternative. There's an alternative arcade scene aside from the regular arcade scene. You'll see that briefly as well. Electric alternative arcade. So not only is it the alternative arcade, but there is an electric type of effect over the back. It's smoke-free for that reason. Smoky alternative arcade. Smoky arcade muted. Okay. So as you can see, smoky versus smoke-free, alternative regular arcade. Those are opposites. And then you also have Spooky Arcade, which is going to be a kind of a Halloween theme in the arcade itself. Spooky, which is outside of the arcade, no arcade involved. It's just a spooky background, a storm background, and a Zen forest background. Arcade scene atmospheres, there's 4 of them. This is not the background. This is, think of it like an overlay. This is like a day overlay, a dusk overlay, a night overlay, or a smoky overlay to the scene selected. All right. Otherwise, the rest of these are standard CoinOps bats, but look at how many there are. This is how much you can control what's going on in this Forgotten Worlds build. I'm about to fire it off. It is night mode by default, and if not, I'm going to set it up mode and day mode. Day mode and night mode. Modes are collections or groups. I don't want to use the word collections. They're groups of bats put together to give you an overall feel, an aesthetic, if you will. Day mode would be a brighter background, no smoke. All right, you're going to have cabinets that are lit in the daytime. Many different things put together to do a mode. If you don't want to do, you can start off in a mode and then tweak the specifics back here. Or you can set up your own just by checking all of the options that you want back here. There's no settings GUI. There's only two playlists, favorites and arcades. It is only 16 by 9. It is MAME only. For those that want 4 by 3 or 5 by 4, or if they want ultra wide screen, join the Discord. Let it known that there is support for those. Maybe the devs will put in the time to make those layouts for you, but they're not going to do it unless they hear from folks saying that'd be a great idea and I'd use it. Again, this is probably best in an arcade setup in a public area, so that people can just walk by and go, oh yeah, that's what I remember about arcades. All coin operated games included in here. Reminder, Joy2Key is not in here as a mapping software. Use X input. It's basically set up if you have X input controls, if you have an Xbox or compatible controller, you're going to be good to go out of the box. You can use arcade controls because it's going to be very popular. iPac 2 and X input mode is always good. A tank stick that is an X input mode. If you're using the zero delay or the generic D input, those will work pretty well here as well because it's MAME only, so it's going to work just fine. Just join the Discord server and look, there is one button swap that you will have to do between coin and start if you're using D input stuff. Very easy to do. Otherwise, follow the wiring diagrams and you're going to be in CoinOp Arcade Bliss. Without further ado, Forgotten Worlds, night mode default. I'm going to stay on just for a couple minutes here just to see. Darkened arcade, smoky background, darkened cabinets. This is the small size. The large size will actually have the marquee that goes to the top of your screen and it's zoomed in a little bit closer to you. I like this aspect size, but in the display here that I'm going to do, I'll change it up a little bit. On the right, you notice the wheel fades away when it's not in use. You just saw track mode kick in because I've been talking for more than 24 seconds and it moved on. But as you can tell, there's the arcade din in the background, the music, which will randomize upon each start. Look at how fast this goes. Look at those coin slots in night mode. The flickering marquee has been brought back. I'm going to show you day mode just to show you the exact opposite of most of those settings, other than keeping the arcade background. And music will kick in, it will get loud. My apologies, arcade din, it's going to get chaotic, but look, day cabinet. Day arcade, no smoke. Look for all of the Easter eggs that are in this arcade setup as well. Attention to detail is just impressive in this build. All the things that have been added. Favorites, arcades, all works per the regular buttons. All right, I've explained the bats. I'm going to go through and just quiet up and roll some tape. If you see me click on something, the command window will pop up. You'll know that I selected that one. It'll be brief. It'll go away, but that's one of the settings I've set. Otherwise, I'm just going to try and splice in some video of me jumping around and showing some of these different things. As always, join the Discord server, read the FAQ, and after you get there, check out the FAQ. And before you ask any questions, check the FAQ. I say that a lot because we have great documentation. We're always there to help. But please do a little bit of research. We have documented just about everything that comes up. If you can't find your answer there, and after a good search, feel free to ask in the appropriate channel. All right, folks, game on. We'll see you there. And that was for those of you that have a pause button and say, we never give out a list of games. You can use that to your advantage.
Attack the humanoid.